Hello, welcome. Oh, that music is too loud. 1 second.
Hello, hello.
That's all better. We're live. Welcome to Table Talk, where we talk all things tabletop. We got an interesting topic to hear today, and I think it might just shake up a lot of people's perspective on tabletop. But before we get into that, Alex, you got anything new you're working on, or anything new that's been up with you?
Yes, I release a new video as I always do every Thursday. This one I think is probably the best one I've made. It's the first one where I can truly look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good product. Because I decided over Thanksgiving, you know what? I'm gonna put more effort into the shit I do. So I've just been trying. It's kind of wild. And I'm very happy with it. It's a video on Corvus Corax, a Mr. Raven Edgelord man, and I gotta say, I'm a massive fan of him. He's so fucking cool. And then next week, I have some a bit more high efforts, interesting concept video idea. Going to be breaking form, and it's going to be more of a produced thing. So stay tuned.
All right. And yeah, you're near that 500 subs.
Yeah. Also, it's been really nice. The last of this video, it's not doing the greatest right now, probably because no one knows what the Raven Guard. I kind of expected that, Grant, but every single comment is very very kind, and I'm like, damn, this is very cool.
Nice.
People,
Yeah.
man, Warhammer fans are very welcoming. I worried for when the bad ones find me. I keep making some jokes where people are like, I can't believe you're pandering to the woke crowd. No, it's just funny. What are you talking about? Yeah, that one was really fucking funny. I'm like, yes, me making fun of the British Museum, a undeniable fact that they just steal shit. That is woke. I made a joke about Amazon in this latest one.
Oh, great. Nice.
Yeah, I know.
We'll see.
I was joking about how this dystopian planet would imprison people for asking for the wild stuff as workers' rights or bathroom breaks, and I just had an overlay of Amazon. And I'm waiting for someone to get pissed at me for making fun of Amazon. I'm gonna be doing anything to that fucking monolith of a company.
Yeah. It's funny. You might hit 500 when I hit 1,500. That's really funny.
Twins.
Twinsies. It's been slow going for me, personally. I've been a little behind on the track for videos lately. I've been really thinking hard about a new content line. And I don't know. I definitely think I'm getting on the right track. But it's still, there'll be some experimental videos coming out soon, hopefully. Anyway, I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking a lot about the videos I want to make, and a lot of the videos I want to make, and innately, as my as who I am as a person, are the same videos that everyone else makes, telling people how to play tabletop, giving people tips, all that kind of stuff. That's something that I was like, I want to do this, and then I look and I see all these other channels, and I look at those channels, and I just see it's like, oh god, it's the guy that lives in his mom's basement kind of people most of the time, not always.
There's a chunk there like that. There's a chunk where I'm definitely like, this seems like the general vibe. It's just this feels like it's filmed in a basement.
And I don't want to be that person or represent tabletop as that kind of person. So I've been trying to kind of think of a way to make it more entertaining. And I think what I want to do is I want to do tabletop content that's done just a lot more charismatically than it's done in a lot of those kind of videos.
Yeah, because, that is an issue I see for a lot of those videos. They kind of are just devoid of charm in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just some guy being like, this is a book. The book says this.
I want to bring the charisma of the TikTok tabletop play, like, content creators, but I want to bring, like, little nuggets of real wisdom mixed in, like the actual YouTube content creators do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be your best friend describing a game to you in a way that makes it seem really fun and cool and interesting, while also at the same time giving insanely good tips and like very knowledgeable, insightful kind of information mixed in.
Yes, join me in the shared vibe. That's the vibe I'm bringing to my shit. That's all. That's the thing. That's what everyone keeps bringing up about my videos. It's like, this is like a friend telling you about something they care about. Like,
Yeah,
there's
but
an
I wanna be
audience
the
for
cool
that.
friend doing it.
Yeah, I'll be the dumb but like the friend you just kind of like placate. It's like, yeah, yeah. The no, that's that. Honestly, I think that's a good vibe because it's that thing of I was listening to a podcast recently where it's the kind of inevitability that every single thing you make that is personality driven, you are inviting and promoting some form of parasocial relationship. But on the
Yeah.
other hand, there's just this innate thing for humans where you want to have like, you want to listen to people talk and you want that vibe of like, I feel somewhat included and like I'm in with it. And the vibe of like, bring that vibe of you asked a close friend of yours who cares about a thing they're fucking obsessed with. Hey, what is this thing anyways? And they're like, they turn to you and like, you're gonna get a lecture. They go into it in like in a fun kind of entertaining way, like very casual. I think is a market that I haven't seen very much of. Because that's something I've noticed in the Warhammer space is because admittedly there's not very many 40k creators that are any what like prominent. In all of the ones that are, there's like the funny ones. There's Bricky and Adeptus Ridiculous, which, you know, kind of same deal. It's
Right,
main
yeah.
host, where it is like meme, haha, funny. We're making fun of stuff. We're joking around. And then there's like very serious. We're bringing you into the tone, like in the grim darkness, like that shit. There's no one who's just like, sup. Anyway, here's the thing. I'm explaining this to you very casually and condensed. It's not really a
I
big
don't know.
thing.
I
And
mean,
I
I think
see
that's what
like one or
Bricky
two.
does.
Yeah, but the difference is I guess it's produced because Bricky, I feel like, is very obvious. He's very scripted. Which also I'm
Yeah.
saying as a massive Bricky fan and someone I've very obviously chomped a bit of. Like I'm a proud Bricky clone, I'll say. But I think it's the difference of you can bring a different vibe by making a similar format. And there's a different effect to having something very tightly produced to having something that's kind of has like the friend explaining something vibe, the like wholesomely like a cheesy kind of deal. I don't know. That's the trend I keep seeing like popping up. It was the idea I had when I was making these videos, and then I kept seeing it repeated in like every video or two, like someone saying this is the vibe, and I'm like, you get it, good. I'm glad this is actually working, not just some like thing in my head that no one sees my genius.
Loud playing in your background?
It's the shower that I can't do anything about.
Okay. All right, no worries. I was
I don't
just
like
like, I couldn't identify the sound, so I was like, is that some weird static or something?
My bedroom shares a wall with a shower, and for some reason someone is showering at 4 p.m.
Yeah, no worries.
College house.
No worries, just making sure your audio is not like breaking on you.
Yeah, of course.
It's not too big a deal. It's not very distracting.
From what I've heard, it's not too bad, but it's very loud to me.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine. But yeah. And honestly, like, tabletop falls a lot into that same category. There's a lot of people who are coming in who are either like they're giving out very interesting, deep content, or are coming in and making charismatic meme content. I mean, Nonats, XP to level 3. There's so many channels out there who are coming in and just delivering like one of the two kinds of content.
Yeah.
And plus two, yeah, those kind of videos. But there's no one who's coming in Like, I would love to have, like, Bricky's swagger with the confidence of, like, talking about deep I want to be able to very charismatically tell you about really cool, intricate, deep things about tabletop and not have it be something that sounds like a dissertation given to you by a college professor.
Yeah. I envy. That's something I strive to be. Like, Bricky's confidence in delivering shit. Like, the fact that he can give out, like, some genuinely, like, thoughtful, like, really intelligent points, like, in videos, and then is the same guy who is obsessed with Amogus twerking like, GIF. Like, it's that, like, dichotomy of, like, you can be funny and also make good points.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, yeah, our thing is better than No Nats' thing. 50 gold pieces
50
is much better.
gold pieces?
Yeah!
I have to say, that's way more outrageous than just a +2 bonus difference. But, yeah. It's crazy because... it's hard to see. There's some other channels I think kind of capture it a little bit. Oh goodness, what was her name? My brain just... I just had a brain fart. She does D&D content. You know, if I type in...
That's the problem. I don't watch D&D content. Though I will say, like, as much as I don't, like, watch that many Pathfinder creators, like, I have watched and enjoyed No Nats videos. Because it's kind of fun, just, like, he has a good vibe to his videos.
I definitely think he
brings a good personality for it.
I think he has a good charisma.
He has a good, like, video persona, like, that he brings up. And, like, I have watched and, like, actually enjoyed some of his content. Not all of it, because, like, I don't want to watch the long live stream analysis stuff. But he's made a few, like, you know, concept videos or kind of jokey Pathfinder stuff that I've found enjoyment from. I can see why he's very popular. And granted, I am part of that. I am subbed.
Mm-hmm. Ginny D. Ginny D is, I think, a really good D&D YouTuber that does a very good job of being very interesting in a lot of her videos.
Oh, I watched a video of hers, like, last night.
Yeah.
That was the Bard one, because I was like, it came across my Twitter, and I was like, fucking finally someone said it. The horny Bard joke is so unfunny.
Yeah, for real. Oh, yeah, there it is. 3 myths about D&D bards to outgrow.
Yeah, that was the one I referenced before we even started this.
Yeah, but she does a lot of interesting content, and she provides a lot of really good information in a lot of her videos. Granted, as in everything with tabletop, some of it can be a little contentious. Some of it can be a little, like, people not agreeing on the point or whatever. And I think that's just due to the diversity of tabletop and how people play their games in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about Ginny D's content that I think is holding her back from being one of the top, and one of the things that I don't want to do necessarily, is I don't want my channel to look like I'm telling people how to play the game. And that's like a lot of the style, like her thumbnails or video titles are like, stop doing this. That's bad advice. Why your game sucks kind of stuff. You know? I don't want to... I mean, that's clickbait, though. You know, right? Like,
yeah, that's the game, sadly. Like,
that's the game.
As much as it, like, isn't the most fun vibe, it works. It's clearly working.
Obviously. Like I said, I brought her up because I thought of her as an example of kind of the direction that I would like to go. But a lot of content creators make that same kind of content. Like, why your game sucks. Why you have character failures, stuff like that. Assuming that, you know, stuff that the players are doing are dumb, bad, not good. And I feel like there's just a slightly better way to present it. And also just a better way of, like, going about it, where it's more like... you could play the game your way, but check out what I'm doing kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not the same exact like wording of that, but that kind of here's some good examples of what we're doing or I'm doing, or like making a joke of it rather than like, you know, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, and obviously it's something it's hard because obviously the kind of content I'm trying to make is different than content that's already been made. But
yeah, it's the thing that I think of is a YouTuber and streamer I adore, dude by the name of Doug Doug. Honestly, I would say one of my favorite creators of all time. He made a great video. It's like an hour long of things to keep in mind when you're doing like your first year of YouTube channel or like trying to grow like something.
mm-hmm.
And the key one is like it's the obvious advice, but it's the don't roll up to a space offering the exact same thing other people are.
Yeah.
Because like the way he likens it is like imagine rolling up to a food court and being like, you know what would be great for this food court? Burger stand. When there's like 20 other burger stands.
Right.
You got to do you got to have some twist that's like different. It's why that like Let's Play shit is just like next to impossible to do now. Because like, yeah, why would I watch this random like a dude playing a video game when like Jacksepticeye is still doing stuff?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's kind of like what I was doing with my channel for a bit, doing the archetypes, because no one's done nearly the amount of archetypes that I've done on the game so far.
Someone tried. And did
Yeah.
not get as far.
And to be fair,
and skip some.
Yeah, true. But let's not sling mud here.
No.
Pathfinder is new enough where it didn't really matter what you did. You could make content because like a lot of my class videos rank in the top 10 videos of class content for Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my archetypes are top because there's like the only ones, except for the few that like Nona has done. But when it comes to like other kinds of content, I don't know. And people are hungry for builds, and I could keep doing build videos. But the thing is that my initial desire for my channel in the first place was not to be a Pathfinder channel. It was to be a tabletop channel. Pathfinder just is one of my favorite games right now, and is my favorite game right now. And it's obvious that other people are interested in only the niche content. And I was talking to one of my friends last night, and we were talking about how the tabletop as a whole is made up of a bunch of niche islands that have little interaction between each other. People want to see their game and only their game and want nothing to do with anyone else's game a lot of the time. Even though a lot of people who play tabletop are hungry for a scene of tabletop that is more diverse in what games you play. Because there's any number of times we've had people even come onto the show and be like, yeah, I love Pathfinder. It's not my favorite, though, you know. Even though they're like some of the biggest Pathfinder proponents out there.
Yeah.
Like when we had Paul from the Reddit, you know, massive, like 50K subreddit for Pathfinder. And it's not even his favorite game.
Yeah. The dedication to run something like that big and like central for a thing you don't even like, not even like fully obsessed with. There's like another game sitting on the side that you're like, there it is though.
Right. And so another thing that I want to do is eventually in the near future, I'm working with my close friends currently to improve our entertainment value, to say the least, working on our improv skills and trying to come together to get better at tabletop, get better at tabletop by having better characters, better narratives, all that other kind of stuff. And what I would like to do in the future is to run several different systems a month and then take those live plays, cut them down into nice condensed 15 to 30 minute videos of like the high points of those sessions, and make content based on the games that we're playing, and have a channel that at any one time is playing through multiple systems and is making very fun, interesting content that you may come for your system, but you're going to watch our other clips at the very least, or our other little fun bits, because we're entertaining. You know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm super excited for that. I want to be involved in that really bad.
yeah,
That sounds really fun to make.
but I mean, like, think about it. Like, you have, it's like if Brennan Lee Mulligan's general crew got together and had a lot more like diverse systems that they were playing, and the channel also kind of provided Brennan Lee. I would love to listen to Brennan Lee Mulligan talk about like how a game works or some cool things that happen in a game system, because I guarantee he could talk about a game and I'd want to play it.
Oh,
because
yeah,
he's just that entertaining.
Yeah, I feel like he could sell like next to anything.
I can't wait for why this weapon tree is awesome. I mean, there's some interesting stuff to talk about weapon traits too, but so that's what I like to do, is I like to have a channel that is constantly running through a bunch of like campaigns that are like short campaigns, like 10 sessioners or whatever, you know, playing a game for a couple months and then moving on to something else, or having a mainstay game, having the channel be filled with content of like the best of the session, or, you know, 1 minute clips from or less of really something funny that happened during a session in particular, and then also getting to sit down and then use all the hype I get from running the game and being like, oh man, this is really cool, this is really cool, and then delivering content like that to everyone, to create a channel where it's essentially a channel that is a variety tabletop channel, but it's a channel you come to watch because we're interesting and we make it interesting, and you want to see some new game systems, so you want to see like how we have fun with it and what we're doing with it.
I feel like another reason I'm interested in the idea is that I would actually like watch that, because that's I feel like that's a problem where tabletop content's too long form. It's trying to teach me how to do shit. I don't care. I know how to play Pathfinder. If I don't know, it'll figure out in the game. But like, if it's just, I think it's the thing we keep always talking about for this is the approaching tabletop content not like it's tabletop, but like it's video game content.
Yeah,
that's the shtick, which I think is a very fun shtick.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go, and that's why I haven't made content in literally almost 3 weeks now. At this point, because I've been sitting here trying to figure out what I can do, because a lot of stuff I can't just make all my friends suddenly funnier and more entertaining like on a whim. That's something that takes a lot of time, effort, and everyone, you know, I also can't pay anyone to do this or anything. I have to just hype everyone up on the idea and then hope it carries through for them to actually like participate in events. And on top of that, I've been trying to think of like what solo content I can do in the meantime until we can get to that point on the content wheel where we're actively like doing the thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's just the thing I want to do, is I want to start experimenting with like top 5 games you should be playing right now, top 5 this, that, or whatever, that very clickbait kind of content, but I want to make those videos sound and be very interesting for the people who watch the videos, so that I'm getting people hyped up to try new game systems.
I think it's a really good way to start. Like the idea of making, you know, it's the thing I've been saying and like selling like constantly, is that very low what's the word? The amount of energy you put into a thing.
Yeah, low effort.
Yeah, it's like low effort on the audience side, where they're like, I don't need any preconceived info about something. I can sit down and be told this thing is good, this thing is good for this reason. Or,
Hmm.
hey, here's a bunch of just cool games you haven't heard of, like top 5 cool games you definitely haven't heard of, like stuff like that.
Yeah, but I want to, because other channels have done that kind of stuff. But I want to
Yeah.
do it and make it fun. I want to do
Yeah.
it and make the games look hype, be their biggest hype man, you know. So
I think it's a good method to go down. It's and then like use that to build up uh a newfound like hype for like, hey, by the way, we're not just gonna do Pathfinder.
right.
I feel like that's a good way to get that set up.
Yeah, and you know, and in the meantime, like I said, I can still do like Pathfinder archetypes, Pathfinder uh builds, but I can in between that as well develop like, hey, check out these other game systems, or hey, this is very cool. Uh Actually, you know what, Cash, you're here just in time, because this does tie into the point that I was kind of leading to, which is what needs to change in tabletop. And that very thing is the reason why. Oh, there's this idea that a lot of people don't want to change out of D&D 5th edition because it is what they know and they don't want to try anything else. I don't think that's the case at all. What I really think the case is people who play D&D don't want to play another medieval tabletop game system or another
True.
Tolkien-esque game system. Because why would they? They have D&D 5th edition. It doesn't matter that the games are different, mechanically different, or anything like that. They are. It's like you're playing like a Call of Duty-esque game, and another similar kind of genre game comes out, and you're the kind of person who wants to like dive deep into a game, and so you look at it and you're like, do I want to spend 60 hours getting good at that game when I'm already really good at this game? Kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's the I think as well it breaks down to the general audience does not give a shit about like, oh, the mechanics are different. They care about like, yeah, but is like the vibe different? Because you know, for example, like, yeah, like, oh, dude, you should play Battlefield. It's like, yeah, I play like COD though. It's like, no, but it's different for this reason. It's like, yeah, but so it's a military shooter. I don't see why I should invest my time and money into something when I have this other thing that does the same thing. When it's like, yeah, because like I play 5e in Pathfinder because it's like I'm there for my friends, but like if I'm offered, hey, new system, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, and they're like, yeah, it's like Pathfinder, but like slightly different. I'm like, no, if I'm gonna like put my time in learning a new system, make it something unique, like something cool, like Lancer or like VTM, like something that's actually like a different thing.
And Dev Phoenix, I do agree to some degree on that note, but that's because the tabletop like community as a whole, or at least a lot of the people who joined in the last 5 years or 7 years, I think at this point, it's getting real crazy. Whenever Critical Role started, don't know what it means to play other tabletop games, and there's not people out there who are super hyping up other game systems. The only ones really are Pathfinder, and that's why it's a big meme online of, you know, like a D&D player saying, ah man, I hate this in D&D, and then a Pathfinder player shouting in their ear, have you tried Pathfinder yet? Like, that's a meme on the internet, because the only people who are really super hyped to like get new people into their hobby is Pathfinder, which is just a different kind of D&D to other people.
Yeah, it's just fantasy again. Like Starfinder is like more interesting of a concept, and I'm not even that big of a like a Starfinder fan.
Yeah, but then we like even Starfinder, it's like D&D players will look at that and you're like, It's just a D&D. It's just Pathfinder's space system. So why would I do that when I can do D&D's space system?
Yeah, I
Like,
guess that's fair. But it's the idea of it's like it's the different style. It's not just fantasy again. Like that's at least something. But even then, I say that as someone who isn't really into Starfinder that much.
yeah. So what I really believe needs to change in tabletop is this idea of hard sticking to games. And a video I want to do is why tabletop is the new MMO. Because if you're in the MMO community, it's a nomadic society. You're always trying every new MMO because nothing really sticks. Because you can't get that fire of what really made you get into MMOs in the first place. And the game that got you in the first place either is no longer good, or you just burn out on it and you just can't do it anymore and you want to find it somewhere else. And I feel like as tabletop keeps going, that's going to start happening with people who are going to get burnout on D&D, because they eventually will, because it's just D&D over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we'll enter a nomadic phase of people trying out new tabletops here or there and like not being super satisfied with it. And I want to jump in and light this idea, create this spark of, no, tabletop isn't an MMO. You don't have to give everything you have, want, need to a single tabletop system. Just play other tabletop systems, make shorter campaigns that you can get through in a couple months, and when you do find the one that you want to play a lot more than that, then you can play the year-long, multi-year-long campaign. It's that easy. Heck, we're playing a year-long, multi-year-long Pathfinder game, and we're going to take a quick 2.5-month break to play some Lancer.
Best idea.
By the way, we're going to be playing Lancer on the channel for more than one session. So that's hype.
I am so fucking excited. You have no idea. I've already like kitted out my character to be like a better more like long form version and an actual character rather than just the mech and then a guy who's in the mech. I'm very excited to finally explore this like thing in sci-fi I'm fascinated with.
So, you know, when I say what needs to change in tabletop, what needs to change in tabletop is for the people who are hard stuck in a single system and refuse to change, need to see that trying other new games is the fun of tabletop. Just like trying new video games is the fun of video games. Because there are so many great games out there, so many great systems, but they're very poorly advertised. Because tabletops don't make money.
Yeah.
So, it's up to us in the community to play the hype game. And a lot of the time, we're terrible at it. Because you're just listening to sweaty nerds tell other sweaty nerds that their game is wrong. Most of the time. There's so many times I watch someone online in Twitter or on YouTube go, oh, have you tried this game system? It does everything your game does, but better. Or, oh, if you're tired of your games, whatever, you should try this one. Like, they're trying to conflate the two systems together when they don't need to. There's always also these are people who get superiority complex because, like, you've only played D&D. I've been playing tabletops for years, and I've played 30 tabletop or 100 tabletop systems. I know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, that doesn't need to be the vibe, you know? You can just have people come online and just hype up the crap out of their game that they like and just not need to conflate it with D&D.
It feels like it's the thing it just needs to work past is the is the tendency, like just with online stuff, is a lot of it feels like it's done as in like, tired of D&D 5e, do this, because it's like, to get any views you have to mention 5e so it can get that in the 5e search terms.
Yeah.
Like if it can move past the point where you can just look into stuff without having to conflate it just so it does well at all. Because I feel like that's the problem in the end. It's not even like for like, oh, I'm comparing because I want to. It's like I'm comparing it because if I don't, no one will see it.
That's fair.
I'd love it if that didn't happen.
In my squeezing arm, we are still on topic, so don't worry.
We'll see how long that sticks.
Exactly. And so, yeah, that's fair. So what I want to do is I want to make the channel that does that content, that makes it interesting, that's not cutting down its neighbors, that is doing nothing but just generate hype for other games. Like, I watch indie game channels. I actually, well, mostly one, but sometimes some other ones as well, because I do love indie games, and I do watch their videos. It's one of the few things I watch on YouTube pretty regularly. And they are not constantly there, comparing them to other AAA games. There, and in case it's like a game that's very much styled after a AAA game, like Souls-like, it's really hard not to see a Souls-like game and not say Souls-like when it has all the same mechanics. Even though there's some really good games out there, they're definitely not anything like actual Dark Souls. They just have some similar mechanics. Tabletop needs to be that as well. So if I can get there, if I can not even get there, if I can make the content that is interesting, that is very appealing for people to watch. The tabletop community is small, and a lot of tabletop content creators have their fingers on the pulse of tabletop in general and are looking for other kinds of tabletop. Like most top of the line tabletop content creators out there play multiple systems, actually. But they don't talk about the other ones as much because like they would lose money on those videos. So we make the channel that's the variety channel that those people go to watch. Eventually, you just need one of them to say the name of your channel once. And then you get a bunch of people coming by to check your content out. You just need to become that phenomenon in the community of producing really good variety tabletop content. And the community will do the work for you. Because that's what the state of tabletop is right now. There's very few actual tabletop channels consistently making variety tabletop content.
Yeah, it feels like it's the sell is just getting to the point where like that variety content can sell. It's changing the market in a way where people will notice like, oh, this thing, it's in here and it's great. We should watch and pay attention to it. And hopefully, the dream is causing a brand new shift in like tabletop of like, the Critical Role thing of bringing people into like, oh shit, tabletop game.
Yeah.
You can think about it differently.
And welcome, Dagon. Yeah, and the thing is, right, is that if it works, if it's successful, it's not something that has to be self-propelled by this own channel. Other channels will see the success and hype it up. And I do know a lot of tabletop players or channel content creators who are players, I guess, do mention other games, but rarely do they dedicate whole videos to it. They'll mention it, they'll add it. Sometimes they do make those videos. I guarantee you can find them out there. But they mostly stick to their main line because that's what makes them money. And that's the thing. That's how I know people want to make this kind of content. That's how I know people are looking for this kind of content. Is It's out there, it's hungry, but all the channels that can make the change are too afraid of losing the money to do so, which is understandable, because if you can make money doing your hobby, the last thing you want to do is put that in jeopardy in any way.
That, and sadly, the YouTube sphere of you make a stinker video, you lose out on a good amount of like change.
And just keep on listening, Dagon. You'll get the picture soon. So let little old Bad Luck Gamer, who only has 1.5k subs at this point, take the blow, because I'm not making that much money anyway, right? So I might as well do my best to generate that kind of content. If I can make it look good, if I can make it interesting, and then if I can start turning it into a wave, other content creators will see the success, hop on board, and do it as well. And then Variety Tabletop becomes just a big thing, you know? And that's just good for the hobby in general. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this as the, oh, we're going to be better than the other channels because we're going to cause this new wave that helps it. I know a lot of content creators out there wish desperately that they could make content on other things. You ever watch Nonats? He's been struggling so much with, if he doesn't put Pathfinder in the title or D&D, his videos do terribly. And it's because that's just how the algorithm's set up. Right now, the algorithm completely conflates D&D and tabletop in general, because it doesn't know any better. That's why you're launching your non-fungible tabletop. That'd be fun to meme on. That'd be a good skit idea. But like, there's so many things, right, where tabletop is still so much in its infant stage as far as like mass media appeal, that changes can happen out of nowhere. And people in the tabletop space don't understand literally that there are other games out there that they might enjoy more. People are like, D&D is so easy. D&D is not even the easiest tabletop game out there. People are like, I like D&D, but I hate battling in D&D. There are games out there that make battling single dice rolls.
I'm curious. Now that's a cool video idea. Imagine, what is the easiest tabletop game to pick up and play?
Yeah.
Because, you know, actually, a style of content I do like where it's tabletop adjacent is, there's a video I saw recently where it's this guy going through this old, like, choose your own adventure type book, but it's a first person, like, PvP, like, adventure book where you're delving into a dungeon trying to fight your friend who has the other book.
Interesting.
Or there's a single player mode where you're going through this dungeon trying to solve like puzzles and traps. But it's like literally every page is just like art, and you have to flip to certain pages based on like what the other person tells you and like all that stuff. Like showcasing interesting twist stuff. Like it'd be really cool. Cause like that, I feel like that'd be a fun video of like, people say 5e is like the easiest game out there, but let's see if there's any others. Like what is a game that you could pick up and play like right now? You need like a little bit of time to learn and then you're good. I feel like it'd be a good video idea.
Yeah. And my squeezing arm, we talked about this earlier, but I actually somewhat disagree. It's more of, there's a community of people who see 5th edition and they just don't want to do another medieval Tolkien-esque fantasy game, because why would they? They already invested into D&D. Then there's the other crowd of people who don't know tabletop really, and they haven't been presented other tabletop in a way that they consume that shows them how fun other tabletop games can be.
Yeah, and then there's always the stragglers who are just the peak anti-change no matter what. And those people will always stay, and there's no point like catering your market to them at all.
Yeah, but I think they'd be such a small part, honestly. Because like I said,
I don't know. I we had this discussion last Table Talk where I've met too many people in my like D&D time where they're people who refuse to do anything other than 5e, but also barely understand 5e's rules because it's the people who want the DM to play the game for them.
I completely understand that, and
I like the idea of it.
I somewhat relented the point that time, but now I've had this idea and thought, and I literally think because they joined D&D in the first place, right? They tried something new and liked it. It's not against their nature to try something like that, but
yeah.
Right now, tabletop is really shitty at promoting itself for anything that's not D&D. Pathfinder is the closest second, besides maybe Vampire, depending on what circles you revolve around. And they don't even come close. No. When have you ever seen an actual commercial for Pathfinder?
I don't think I've seen a commercial for any tabletop game other than just like pure announcement material that D&D did. I think the only time I've seen a tabletop commercial was the one D&D announcement.
So by promoting, do you mean marketing? I mean, yes, technically. But I'm talking more of like actual commercials, actual like putting it out there. I mean, D&D Beyond. Sam Riegel made D&D Beyond like so easy for people to remember because of the D&D Beyond theme song.
Imagine if you saw like tabletop ads on YouTube or Twitch. That'd be pretty cool.
Right?
I feel like that'd be the step. But
because a lot of the time, go ahead.
I don't know. It's an older point. It's still it's the thing, like I'm so like traumatized by it almost. I feel like there's too many people who just like the idea of playing D&D. They don't actually like playing D&D. It's like, I mean, it feels like you're in an in crowd, and it's not the majority at all. But it's like I'm thinking of the last table I was in person, where there's a good few players there. Where I'm like, God damn, you're pretty cool in real life, but Jesus Christ, you play D&D in a very frustrating way.
You're like TTRPG poser.
Yeah, like it's like kinda, because it's the thing of, I don't believe if they saw a video of like a thing where they'd be like, oh, other games exist, I'll do that. No, I think they'll stick with D&D because they like the idea of playing D&D. They don't like playing it. It's people who are obsessed with a brand and will do a thing because of the brand. Which, to be fair, I'm guilty of this. I remember a conversation about Pokemon where we were talking about, like, would you get a game that does the same thing Pokemon does, but it's not Pokemon? I'd be like, nah, I like Pokemon because it's Pokemon. People like brands. And I feel like that's just a thing with 5e, and I feel like that's a reason why it's so popular. Because there's the nerdy crowd like us, where we actually care. We care about the mechanics, we care about the vibe, we care about, like, all that stuff. Those are the people who play it because it's the thing to do. Or they like the idea of being like, yeah, I play a bit of D&D, this is my character. And then but in like reality, if you watch them play their character, they sit at the table on their phone, not paying attention for all of it.
Yeah, right. But
I've met too many people like that.
I do acknowledge that those people exist. It exists in literally every hobby. So I'm not going to say that, but I would say not a majority. I would say that you're also forgetting the how to identify the crowd. I identify as my OC crowd. There we go. That's a huge number of people.
That do be
humongous. It's everywhere. All the people who make their own OCs for like Homestuck or Warrior Cats.
Why'd you mention that?
Because it hurts.
This is my safe spot.
Heck, all the people who identify with Warhammer, you know.
Hey, hey, buddy. All right, this is getting a little personal.
It's true though.
Yeah, you are right, but hey.
But there are so many people who love this, who love the idea of becoming their ideal self or identifying with an OC that they make. The crowd is massive. D&D would not be what it is today if the majority of the people were the posers. There is so many people who are actually deeply invested in tabletop because it's the only place they get to feel like their characters and actually play their OCs. I mean, imagine, right? Imagine all the DeviantArt nerds out there obsessed with their OC, and then they finally get to do something where they get to be their OC.
Yeah, where they actually get to play it out and like have other people like take part with the story of their OC. Like that is an appealing concept.
And not only that, but the people who are obsessed with the idea of bringing their characters to life. How many people do we know who make a character in a tabletop and immediately go to get fan art made of that, or get like commissioned art for that?
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
The community wants more variety, but a lot of them don't. See, they want more variety, right? And everyone who's been here in the chat is right. That more variety comes from shoehorning shit into 5th edition because that's where they feel comfortable.
It's what is guaranteed to get eyes on your shit.
Well, I'm talking about the people who are playing it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's the game they know. It's where they feel comfortable. So when they get a new character idea made in that game, it's something they feel like they have a lot more power of. But what if tabletop was a lot more orientated, designed to be marketed towards people who want to make really sick OCs in other systems, in other styles? What if, you know, tabletop was a lot more of, hey, check out this new game, and they have sick art that inspires people to make characters? Because you know what? There's also a lot of people, myself included, who have gotten into a tabletop game because the art in the book looks sick.
Yeah, Lancer,
Anima. Scion actually got me really good with its art back in the day.
Scion art. You mentioned it a lot. I've never looked into it.
It's very vampire-esque kind of art, only more like the main guy, well, at least on the 1st edition book. I don't think I have seen the 2nd edition. It's a guy wearing like a wife beater. It's a dark image. His face is shadowed. He's got a flaming gun, or a lightning is coming off of his gun, a big gun. And there's like ravens flying in the background behind him.
This looks like a video game cover.
Are you looking it up now?
I just saw it, yeah.
Yeah. It was that dark kind of cringy, like just dark edgy content I liked back in the day. And my Squeezing Arm made a good point as well. That's why Humble Bundle is really good for tabletop, and I agree. There's a lot of people, including people we know, who are really invested in the hobby, who go there to get some stuff out. Can you flesh out your idea using an example RPG and what that company might do? Well, I mean, I don't even have to like make up what the company might do. Lancer is just good, and the art is super unique. The mechs look sick, and not only that, but Lancer provides in its game lore even some weird jankiness into how some of the mechs work to get those people who love monsters, who love the weird, hyper invested. You Horus mech users, I know who you are. And the art looks good. I mean, when you are the comic book or the visual novel, I guess is what it is.
The webcomic.
Webcomic, yeah. For Kill 1,000 Demons.
6 billion demons.
6 billion demons.
I'm a big fan.
I'm
of
terrible with names. Like those horse mechs give you some serious feels, but that is exactly what it is. The problem with Lancer, no one of serious weight has invested time into promoting Lancer in the communities.
I feel like a big thing that would be so nice to see. It's the thing of if this can happen. I feel like the best form of marketing these like companies could do if they had, it was very clear that the numbers were there to work. You pay some YouTuber or streamer to play your game. That's all you do. You just sponsor it, like people do with video games, where they have some ad read stuff, they have deliverables they have to do during the video or stream, and like they like for say like Lancer, that's one we were bringing up. Like they just pay some tabletop live play thing, like pay fucking Dimension 20 or whatever. Hey, for this season, we'll give you this much money. Play Lancer, and here's all the resources for it, and here's a link for people to do. Like you'll make some revenue if they buy it through this link, like shit like that. You know, like video game marketing. I feel like with that level, like that would work. It's just right now the numbers aren't safe enough to do. The margins are too low, or it's a really unsafe bet.
See,
but like when someone does it and it works, then like it could be a whole new shift. It's just right now it hasn't been done, so it's purely like speculative.
Yeah, and I agree completely. But look at indie gaming. So many channels have made their name in indie gaming with those indie developers guaranteed not being able to pay them anything for it. They're just people who are passionate about indie gaming, who invested in it, and eventually it got to where it is today, where indie gaming is huge now. So huge. Tabletop just needs its indie gaming. Tabletop just needs its indie content creators to come out there who are really good at selling games and who are doing it only because they want to make that content on YouTube. And that's why. Well, and like everyone, I do understand. Dev Phoenix, you're making good points. It's tabletop's not lucrative right now, but neither was indie gaming back when it started.
Yeah, I also will say, like, having gone to conventions, I feel like everyone in this thing, like I'm saying, like no one here has been to a convention. I bet everyone here has. I've sat down at like convention booths and played games, like new stuff. The difference is if like the last one I remember I did some like Marvel deck builder game. We'll say very fun. It was a very well made game. The difference of hey, let's sit down and play a board game for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes to like let's play a full session, like one shot of like a random thing. A little different in like time. However, I like anything that can help market, because I feel like I feel like the streams made me realize that like these tabletop companies and these smaller tabletop studios just need better marketers. You just need
I don't think that's the case.
Like, I feel like some of these games could do better if they had like marketing, because how many of these games would sell better if people knew they existed? They just need like a marketing strategy, and like I feel like if they follow the video game vibe, that might work. Because like Twitter ads, or just like posting promotional shit on Twitter, like do that. Oh my god.
Well, so here, let me explain. One, tabletop doesn't make money. Doing even Twitter ads is expensive, very expensive. More expensive than a lot of these companies. Like a lot of these people are working in their house in their spare time to produce this content. Some of them do have very successful Kickstarters that make, like $10,000, $20,000 maybe. It happens all the time because tabletop is a community that also has a lot of high rollers who are willing to shell out hundreds of dollars for their hobby. But the reason why that doesn't work, and the reason why it can't be the same as video games, is they just don't have the money to do so. The thing that made video games work and why it became what it is because YouTube. People playing games because they love the games, they wanted to make their own content utilizing the games, became instant free advertising. And tabletop has the struggle of live play content is boring as shit to watch.
So boring.
99 out of 100 times, right? It's just the game is all happening in here. It's not happening on screen. You don't even have the benefit of having something to watch while someone's just idly chatting at you with that kind of feel good, kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly, my squeezing arm. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like wishing for a thing that won't happen or can't happen.
I disagree.
Like I'm talking about like having marketing campaigns, like that, like having like marketers like fully marketing Twitter ads. They don't have the money for it. I wish they did, because there's so many games where I'm like, if you had like the budget for marketing, you'd do so well. And also, I really like this idea to the point where I kind of want to steal it at some point. Like, imagine a Steam for tabletop.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Literally. Fuck you! You beat me to it.
That'd be so good.
I saw that point earlier, Dead Phoenix. Good job.
That is a fucking banger of an idea. Like, you have this program that is like what DriveThruRPG, the Humble Bundle shit, even can link to that stuff, and it's a easy, streamlined way to access your PDF. That can all be all it is, but it's just a better storefront for buying tabletop RPGs
and promoting it.
Yeah,
showing
it'll actually show
giving new good graphics.
New game came out. Here's a whole description, like literally a Steam page for tabletop games. That's such a genius idea. Yeah, like the tabletop simulator mod workshop. Yeah, I think genuinely, yeah. That's saying something.
Yeah, and so this is the thing, right? And this is where all ties back to my initial dream and idea. If we can make the channel that can make advertising other tabletops consistently with a lot of entertainment value and everything, all we have to do is do it well. Other people will do it well, and then suddenly tabletop games who never got that many people start making money. Suddenly people who never thought tabletop could make money look at tabletop and start investing a lot of money into it. Suddenly we start getting premier AAA tabletop games way in the future, mind you. This isn't going to happen next year. This isn't going to happen in 5 years. But all you have to do is have it happen and be successful once, and there will be hundreds of people trying to mimic that same level of success. Each one of those people adding to the overall empire of tabletop and making it more interesting. Like I said, there was a point where indie gaming was as profitable as tabletop. And for those people who say that we're saying that like tabletop's like a niche of a niche kind of deal, millions of people watch Critical Role. Millions of people watch Critical Role to the point where Critical Role was the highest performing channel on Twitch. A lot of people really love it. It's not easily available to a lot of people. You got to get a GM. It is innately harder to run tabletop, but it doesn't have to be. We had a talk last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago at this point, on peripherals. If there's more money invested in peripherals, making tabletop easier, making self-running tabletop, the idea of single-player tabletop is a thing, and it has been something that people have found enjoyment in. Tabletop can do a lot more. And this is why I've been working so hard for the last 3 weeks to come up with ideas to make tabletop something hyped. Because let me tell you, all right, let me just give you guys a practice pitch here for Lancer. Lancer is a game that mixes both high strategy tabletop combat with easy flowing narrative moments that, if you so choose, if it is not deemed 100% necessary, combats can be dealt with a single roll. Players who invest in making cool combat characters can insta-kill enemies by the wave, if you so deem it. And then when an actual threat of a mech comes on, you can go deep into strategy. I wish I could just show you the art right now. That would take a lot of effort and time, but the art is sick. You wanted mechs that have that Evangelion style of feel to it, where they're like almost alive. That's some of the mechs. Or you want those mechs that look like they can mess up a army or a building or something. You want a mech that uses a gun the size of a 3-story building? That's in the game, all balanced well. You want a game that provides you with different mech fighting mechanics so that each mech you play plays differently mechanically? That's what you got with Lancer. If you want a game where from mission to mission you can swap your mechs on the fly, swap your loadout on the fly so you can continue the same narrative with your character but change your play style every so often, that's Lancer. I love Lancer. I think it's super hype, and I would think you would like it too if you're at all interested in fighting mechs, especially because some of it gets weird. When you start dipping into Horus, when you start looking into AI that is conscious, or even something that transcends beyond AI, where machines have some level of innate consciousness that's not recognizable to humans. That's all talked about in Lancer. If you want space flight mechanics that are realistic and really delve into the idea of space flight and what that means for characters, that's Lancer. If you want a game that's a frontier building, primal world settling, fighting native wildlife campaigns, Lancer has that.
And if you want to see firsthand the fun stuff of like the spooky AI and horror stuff, that is exactly the themes I'm going for my character this upcoming like campaign. Because that's like the shit I love, is the weird AI like eldritch shit, and I love that. I'm gonna have the Pegasus mech part in my mech. I love Pegasus. It's like one of the best.
Pegasus is a really freaky boy.
They're so fucking cool. I love the gun that exists but doesn't, because it will exist one day.
Yep.
It's so cool.
Also, speaking on all the spooky stuff, if you want a game companion that in itself has interactable lore bits, if you pick Horus mechs, there are glitchy parts on your character sheet in CompCon, secret messages that appear if you know where to look. Lancer.
Best game.
Right? What if... Now imagine a channel that has all kinds of variety tabletop, where you're like, I want to play another game. Where would you go? Tell me right now, anyone here, where would you go if you wanted to find some information out on other tabletop games without going directly to those websites or what have you? I'm sure there are some sources, but I guarantee everyone's going to have different sources.
Yeah, I can't. I just see Twitter. Shit that pops up on Twitter. That's kind of it. Anything else? I don't know any other places I'd go to actually discover new games. Like, yeah, if it pops up on YouTube, even then I don't watch tabletop content that much.
But what if you had a channel that you could go to that you found entertaining that talked about different tabletops you could get? Like, imagine Bricky was suddenly into tabletop, and in his style, he did 10-minute videos talking about other game systems.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
I would too. We're talking about what needs to change in tabletop. What needs to change in tabletop is people realizing AAA is not the only way to go. Just like how it was in video gaming. And it still can happen because it is inarguable how many people have enjoyed the tabletop space, especially after Critical Role has come out. If you go on Twitter and look up the various tabletop spaces, you get thousands of people talking about tabletop all the time. Oh, I'm glad I'm in your list. But you know, like this is the thing, right? This is where we are aiming for. This is why I haven't made content in a while, cuz I love Pathfinder, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to be the Pathfinder channel. I want to be the tabletop channel. I want to be the variety tabletop channel. Heck, if I can get a sick title as the indie tabletop channel, I would be happy with that too. Because people need to know that there's these games out here, and there are games out there easier than D&D. There are games out there that I guarantee most of the D&D community would find more fun than D&D if they gave it a chance. I mean, it's just bound to happen, right? With so many different games, systems, styles, whatever, eventually you're going to find that one game system that really suits you, that really fits you in every way. For some people, that is D&D 5th edition. There's no lie. That's why people are so insistent on putting stuff in. And don't get me wrong, DMs are doing that too. People who are obsessed with D&D are implementing other stuff into their D&D because they just like the system so much. But there's a ton of people out there who would love other tabletop games because they're easier accessible, more narrative based, more strategy based. All kinds out there. And it's something that just has yet to happen. But you just need one blowout channel, right? Because this is the thing. Millions of people watch Critical Role. If even a portion of that watched Variety Tabletop, you can make a living on that. If people see that you can make a living on that, they'll do it. And then companies will see that and they'll invest. Companies that never got as much money will start getting more money because people are trying out their tabletop games.
God, I would absolutely love that to happen. That's like the dream. Having all these companies that deserve money over some, other systems. Like, I'd love it if more like indie or small publishers got some more time in the limelight. It'd be great. And yeah, that's one of the things I'm excited for. I really like the idea of shifting this towards variety, because love Pathfinder, but you shouldn't be married to the system.
Exactly.
You gotta know, because if you just play one game all the time, which people do that, I do that, Warframe, that's a thing. But other things exist, and you can have fun with other stuff. You can try out new things. It's safe and okay. I do it often, and I'm perfectly fine. I can say easily, oh yeah, I play D&D, Pathfinder, Lancer, VTM, all that stuff. I can. That none of those are mutually exclusive.
Yeah, and I mean, really, when was the last time anyone really played a video game that long besides Warframe?
Yeah, Warframe's an exception. It's only good. It's the only good MMO. So
I disagree, but it is a good one. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
It's gonna keep escalating.
Just
getting louder and louder.
Shouting louder and louder.
This is where the fracture in Bad Luck Gamer starts. Fuck you! I'm going to my channel. They'll treat me well there.
Uh, but like for real though, like it's okay to play a video game until it's done and be done with it. It's okay to play a tabletop game until you're done with it and be done with it. Why does no one think that tabletop games need to be there forever? You know, you can have your forever games, just like you can have your Warframes, just like you can have your World of Warcrafts, even though they've been on the decline lately. But you know, Blizzard's a shit company, so they deserve it.
Yeah, Blizzard's a piece of shit. So.
You can have your Pathfinder, your D&D, but you can also play a different game, either in the same week or on breaks. Like the reason why, and this is the seed bed for I'm mastery rank 9 right now, I want to say.
I'm 8.5. I was farther along in my Switch, but I completely restarted because I gave up on cross save. So I have a lot of things I need to level up. I just got to sit down on Hydron or Helene for a good few hours.
But you know, this is the seedbed for growth in the tabletop community, because imagine, you know, variety content goes up, people start seeing other games start earning more money, tabletop becomes more profitable, tabletop starts producing even better games with even better funding, variety content creators get better games to show to players, to show off, to look into, you know. It just feeds into itself because all you need to do is just grab a small portion of the D&D community and sprinkle it about, and you'll start making money for lots of people. And the thing is, right, it's stagnation. D&D cannot produce enough content to keep these people spending all the time, but they do spend a lot of money on D&D. I know this because the figurines, the minis sell a lot. The D&D's, you know, official minis sell a lot. The game books sell a lot. The campaign books sell a lot.
Yeah. That they do.
D&D Beyond generates a good amount of money for them, honestly.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's not their highest profiting thing, true. But why should any one game be the biggest thing, you know? I mean, it can be for sure, but why should it be?
Yeah, I can imagine that generates a good amount because, you know, you got to pay for all those books again to be digital.
Right.
I hate how that functions, but it makes sense.
That's why Pathfinder allows you to buy it once and have the PDFs, or just get Archive and Ethos. So, you know.
Exactly.
Like, if other games, even if other game companies never hit D&D's level, but instead hit like Pathfinder's level, Pathfinder puts out a lot of really good content, a lot of really fun content, lots of great art.
True. I do like Pathfinder art a lot.
So this is what I'm setting out to do. This is what I'm setting out to do. I'm training my friends. We're gonna go to the desks and I'm gonna break the whip out and we're gonna work on our improv skills. We're gonna make content that's interesting. I'm gonna talk more about variety content. I'm going to try to be the change I want to see in the world. You know what I mean? Tabletop can be more. I know for a fact, because people will spend money on it even if they don't intend on playing it relentlessly or playing it well even.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will buy new tabletop games because it inspires them to make their OCs in those games. I think Lancer has a good chance, honestly. I think if it did get sudden like mass appeal, they would put a lot more into Lancer. I would be sick because I love Lancer.
The amount of work with that they have already with the small team that they got, like, impressive.
And that's why we're going to be running Lancer. We're going to be running Lancer here on the channel. It's going to be replacing Riptide on Tuesdays for a 2.5 months, give or take, streak. We're going to look at Lancer. More Lancer videos are going to come up on the channel as I talk about all the things I love about Lancer, I hyped about Lancer, all that other kind of stuff. As well, we're going to be looking into some other games, and I'm going to be sitting here working my butt off, picking up assets, showing off the art, doing all this other kind of stuff. And I want to really work on producing content for Variety Tabletop. Because what people really need in tabletop right now is a change. They need to not play D&D 5th edition for a little bit. Not saying they need to give it up. I'm just saying that the community needs to get off of D&D for a little bit. Hype up another game.
Timeout. There's a little D&D timeout. Just like put the book down. Just like a week or two.
Yeah, I want to look into Icon as well. Honestly.
Yeah, Icon, I'm less interested because it's fantasy setting. However, if it's by the same it's by the same studio and same artist, so like I'm interested. But like, if I had to pick one, it'd be Lancer.
Also, if I'm telling any of y'all here right now, if there's a game out there that could make a tabletop that their community would flock to, it'd be Final Fantasy 14.
Holy
oh my
shit!
God.
I mean, imagine, it's not just the aesthetic of Anima, but like, just make Anima but better.
Kind of, but not really necessarily. But I will tell you, if you are in Final Fantasy 14 Twitter, there's so many people who would love an RPG system about their Final Fantasy characters. They would absolutely go ham about it.
Yeah, then just tie in the meme of like, did you know you can play it for free for up to like this point?
Exactly right.
Oh my god, imagine like you release a tabletop system and you release the information for them to get to like level 3 of like 20, and like, and if you want more, you have to buy the actual book. Like the same way, yeah, the same way that you do it for like the MMO.
That would be hilarious. I think that's a great idea.
I think that would do really well, or like just because people like, it's the meme, we can keep doing it.
I think it'd be good because a lot of people would love it. Yeah. So, you know, like, that's the thing, right? Tabletop needs content creators doing variety content. The community needs to pay attention to variety tabletop content. But I'm not asking them to do it because it's for the greater good. I'm doing it, or I plan to make it interesting enough that people want to watch it. There's no free lunches.
Yeah. I do think it's really fun, like, at least the difference of this, because I fully believe in the idea you're doing, but to the point where I'd never do it myself on my own channel. I don't care about any other table like war game. I just care about Warp like 40k because I like the lore. But I'm not about to start simping for like bolt action.
Right.
Granted, I feel like war games are different monetary investment. Getting people to try out new war games is a little harder because it's like, yeah, drop like $500 right now. Just you what are you telling me you can't drop $500 right now to try this game?
But hear me out, right? Warhammer and other games like it are just the gacha of tabletop. There's people spending. There's only a small community, very few individuals who are spending boatloads of money that are keeping the whole thing afloat.
Yeah,
and that's how like gacha works.
The good old the whole like mobile game or just any free to play thing of the whales to keep your company afloat.
Yeah,
the high performing tournament players who buy new armies every fucking like a few months when a new book comes out.
Granted, I am not super hyped on the idea of mass appeal for war games just because that's a lot of plastic. That's a lot of not good for the environment. If they had a good solution to it, maybe. But I think it could also be huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of I really like your perspective on this stuff because something we talked about when we went to the convention of like different attitudes towards content creation of like, Are you looking like you're looking to make a community? Meanwhile, I am purely like, I just make the thing that I think is entertaining, and I just want to get better. I don't care about cultivating a change or a community. And then I respect that you are, because you're doing something I believe is good, but have no interest in doing myself.
Well, I mean,
love to reap the
at
benefits.
least by yourself, because you're still helping out with what we're doing here anyway. So
Yeah, I love to take part. I would never lead the charge,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I will
and-
happily like take part in it. 'Cause I think it's
and-
very, very good cause.
This is what I was talking with one of our friends last night as well, is I was just like, if what I'm doing works, if this variety thing works, if we can make playing tabletop really good, profitable, whatever, and you're doing your thing and you get good at it, we have two fronts moving forward that we can do a lot of fun stuff with.
True.
Like two like hopefully eventually like two sources of income, two sources of like viewer appeal. We can have some crossover, we can have some mix up, we can do combined projects to do a lot of different things on top of what we're doing already, all the fun stuff that we could seek out to do. And you know, and the best part is, even if you didn't, you could still help out with what we're doing, and you could still keep your solo, I'm doing this for fun stuff anyway, and then do all the crazy stuff on this channel and, you know, do what you want to do. Like, there's a lot of different ways this can be orientated where we can do something really great.
I think so. There's going to be a lot of very fun ideas. Also, that is a very good point, Cam. Card games, that like Magic and shit.
They
that's the
are
real
actually the true gacha, yeah. But
Straight up.
I was using gacha as it's the whales that keep it afloat.
Yeah,
the
because when
1%ers.
you think of gacha, you do think of the whales that keep those games alive.
I mean, there's not really any other comparison I can make other than, you know, wargaming is akin to just 5 people keeping the whole community alive because they spend outrageous amounts of money.
Warhammer only gets it because they also make money off of book sales and video game sales. Like
Yeah.
they're probably the best performing war game out there, and as such, the company sucks, but the game's pretty good.
See, and that's the thing, right? That's the best part about bringing variety. Because if you make other games successful, if you create competition, it forces those companies to start working a little better. They have to. It's like EA. EA has been actually having to put out good games that are not super shit because they keep having all these super flops that are losing them tons of money.
As long as they make Titanfall 3, then it'll be a success.
But, you know, like this, and it would be fun. It's something, this is content that like I want to do because I'm passionate about, but I want to do because imagine my job is play tabletop 2-3 times a week and then talk about tabletop the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's great. That's amazing. And then when I'm not working, I can play video games. Like, I don't have to make my whole life everything tabletop. I get my games in the week. I do my fun research. I hype up some games, and then I go and I play some video games or do my other hobbies. I can live my life outside of tabletop and still have lots of fun things I'm passionate about and love outside of it as well. So
Don't say that, Dead Phoenix. Don't fucking say that. Don't bring that into the universe. Please, oh god.
But
that's a terrifying sentence to me.
I do want to know, and when the videos come out as well, please give any comments you can. What would you guys like to see? What would you guys like to see in your variety tabletop? What are some things, like styles or presentations that you would like your games done in? And it's a hard question to ask because I think a lot of our community members are very deep in tabletop. like very, very deep, like the abyss levels of the swimming pool of how deep they are in the game. And like whenever I ask for content ideas, a lot of them is content that's already done by people who are already super into tabletopping as it is. But that doesn't mean I should ignore that. I want more mass appeal. I want more content that's entertaining, no matter if you're deep in the content or if you're or just dipping your toe in, you know. But I want to know. I want to know like how you guys would like this kind of presented to you. What things about a tabletop would like inspire you to get the game, or create envy for you to get the game, or something like that. Like, let me know, because what I want to do for a lot of the content that we make, especially with like Lancer, is super cuts of just the moments of like us being like, you can do that in this game, or oh my god, I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and it's so hype, everyone's so into it, it's doing really cool things in a game, because Lancer's got some really cool things, like, in the mechanics, you know, like, I sit down my mech, and I latch to the ground, and I shoot them a mile away. That's a thing in Lancer.
Oh, yeah. I am very excited to play my cowboy mech with my my just bandolier of revolvers.
And, you know, I want to see this kind of stuff with other tabletop games as well. This is why, you know, when I'm looking at people who are talking about WildSea, talking about one of the many other games that we've been hearing about constantly on the channel, I want to look at it. I want to find those moments, create them organically for my players, let them get hyped about it, and then take that cut, put it online. Doesn't gotta be long, can be a minute, can be, you know, a short, whatever, and show off these games when they're highlighted in the things that make them interesting for the players and the viewers as well. Because my fiance, she's been watching this other tabletop, like, clips from this other tabletop game, and she's actually watching the full sessions as well, and some of the shenanigans they've gotten into, and she loves it. She laughs at it. She thinks it's so funny, those moments. And hi Rylan. And that's just what I want to do. I want to do the same thing that I watch my fiance do, which is I want to make content that gets people sitting there laughing. They're just enjoying it. They turn to their partner and be like, oh, this moment was so funny and great and everything like that. Like, I want to create genuinely interesting content. And see, and my fiance is not super deep into the hobby. She enjoys it, don't get me wrong. But she's not like into the mechanics. She's not into like the theory behind it or anything like that. She just is a casual enjoyer of tabletop. And that's what I want to make content for. It's sprinkled in with a little bit of extra stuff for the people who actually love it, you know, or who are a lot deeper into it.
Hell yeah. I think this will be a very good channel like shift.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm excited to see, like, I feel like I'm gonna be genuinely watching the videos of like of just on other systems, especially if you go some to some really fun obscure ones that you find. Yeah,
and so, you know, content is just gonna be slow for now until I get a good rhythm and a good routine where I can then efficiently get the content out more frequently. And you know, it might not come as much if I have to do more and more research about these kind of games and, you know, spend time reading, which is dreadful. I'm not too into reading.
I've been doing that. It's something. Digging through wiki pages or audiobooks is a time.
My ADD brain makes it really hard. But at least I'm interested in this stuff, so it makes the reading bearable. But I
did a chunk of my research for my latest video on the commute over to my family's place for Thanksgiving. Oh god, it was the danger of 40K. going through this book that's like the best entry point for Corvus Corax and the Raven Guard, and it's like the book fucking sucks, dude. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the author's not very good. I'll be honest. He doesn't work for the company anymore, to my knowledge. He's not a great writer. He's very melodramatic it's so dry, and it was just me the whole time like, this is my job, this is work. I'm working now. Listen, pay attention.
Right.
Ugh.
So, you know, we're gonna be working hard. I apologize for the people who really do love the content and love the content that we've done up until this point and really want like Pathfinder specific content. I still love Pathfinder. I still want to do some more stuff. I do want to do the impossible of get all the archetypes into Pathfinder. I probably will also come back when new books release and some of our more interesting things. But I do really want to shift into a majority variety content.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really do hope you keep doing archetypes. I want to see you finish the archetype series.
I do too. I put a lot of work into it. God, how many videos are in that playlist right now? 40 videos in that playlist. God, if each of those videos has like an average view time of like, I don't know, let's say like 18 minutes. That's 12 hours.
Jesus.
12 hours of pure archetype content that I've produced on the channel. Averaged. I don't know 100%. But that's nuts. And I do want to finish it. I do want to do like my final tier list for archetypes. I do want to come back to look up at the Kineticist when it comes out. And I'm saying come back. I'm not leaving Pathfinder. I'm just going to start making content that is more based purely on variety content.
Yeah.
Bringing in more lifeblood into it. Bringing in more ideas, more hyping up of other games, of everything like that. And I hope that what I do works and is beneficial for me and the games I'm looking into. And you know, if this is the start of the wave, it just takes one channel to really blow up in something, kind of like how PewDiePie blew up, or how Smosh blew up in their respective fields. Mm-hmm. And created waves of their own, you know. The only one who hasn't done the same thing is Mr. Beast, but I think that's just because Mr. Beast himself is just a really smart guy, and his marketing strategy is just peerless, and it's really hard for anyone to mimic the same level of success of what he does.
The dude is just making like peak entry content. Like the amount of times it's just people are like, oh yeah, just like sitting down and enjoying a Mr. Beast video is like that guy, he knows what he's doing. God damn, he's very smart with it. I'm listening to like some talks with him where he's gone through like certain things to keep in mind. It's very enlightening.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's appeared on a podcast I really like, because he's friends with Ludwig. And
fair.
Yeah, and there's the fucking like bit that was he farmed for a bit where he called Ludwig midstream and was like, I bought you a private jet, be ready to leave at like California by Thursday.
Yeah
just full on like, all right, I need you for a shoot, you can come out this day. He's like, I have things. Like, do you have other things you have to do? I get your private jet out like by Thursday. I'll send a car to your house.
That sounds like fun, though.
And then Mr. Beast didn't even release the video.
Yeah.
Ludwig did, and it became one of his top performing videos of all time.
Yeah.
It's like, and then he was on their podcast, and he was really fucking funny on it, and also really smart. He brings up some great points.
And that's the thing, right? And that's just I love tabletop. I'm not doing this because I want to get rich. Why would I? Why in my goddamn right mind would I be working on tabletop content to get rich? It's definitely not the way to get rich.
No.
So if we are successful, if I do get rich somehow, it'll just go back into tabletop. I'll just do more fun stuff with tabletop.
Yeah.
You know, hype it up, do what I've done up until this point. So, you know, and yeah, you know, having some extra like tabletop discussions that are not specific to a specific TTRPG as well, I think is an interesting avenue to take as well. It's hard because I want more mass appeal and I want to be able to talk to people who are not super deep in the hobby to, you know, like really impress upon them how fun tabletop is. But I'm also like, I love tabletop theory. Tabletop theory is my favorite thing to discuss. I talk to my friends relentlessly about, hey guys, so let me talk to you about this intricate like idea of tabletop or like mentality or psychology behind how players pick characters or what actually people like in games, not what people think they like in games and all this kind of stuff. Even today, just talking about like the idea that it's not that people don't want to swap out D&D 5e because they don't want to try new things. It's people don't want to swap off D&D 5e because it's either other Tolkien-esque fantasy games or other games have not been presented to them in a way that is interesting enough to get them to try it. You know. Because if you have a game you like and you find another game that is like that game but worse, why would you play it? Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like you look at tabletop and that's everywhere. It's like, oh, I am going to try this game. It only has 2 books out. Why would I do that when D&D has so much more material? You know what I mean?
And then there's the converse of, why would I check out Pathfinder First Edition? There's too many books.
Right, yeah, there's that. Or why would I check out Pathfinder? It's just D&D, right? It was made from D&D. And it's a mentality that's hard to break. But if other people are hyped, I mean, people are creatures, social creatures. They see someone else get hyped for something, they're innately going to want it. It's like when you put like 2 chimps in a room and you give one of them a banana, the other one's going to want that banana.
Yeah.
So if I can be banana chimp, let's do it. I'll just wave all these games in front of your face and be like, oh, look at the fun. Oh, look at the fun I'm having with these games. Oh, man, I'm having the time of my life. There's going to be people out there and we're like, I kind of want to play that game now.
I feel like in this analogy, I am the other monkey.
You are
because
the other
I'm
monkey.
actively in the room doing that. Which I'll say, yeah, I am that. If someone waves a thing in my face, I'm like, I kind of want that thing.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I do like that thing. Give it here.
I want banana. My banana.
Yeah, it's mine. I deserve that.
So, yeah. I know we're going to have fun ideas and skits in the future for just dumb content on top of everything. When we get the capital, that when we're already working on projects that are, you know, more serious, and we get the capital to just do dumb stuff, I can't wait for that.
It'll be a great time.
I can't wait for just making content just for the sake of making content because we think it's funny.
Yep, I'm doing some stuff like that right now, and I can't wait to have like a crew. I hope we get a content house or like at least just be in the same area.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I want to see. That, and that's like a big thing I've talked with a lot of people as well. As I just need to get. If I can just get people together and start working on it, we'll be there in no time. You know, like. Is the second everyone gets better at improv and gets to the point where we can make fun to watch content is when everything really starts kicking off and the channel starts blowing up and everyone gets character art and all that kind of stuff. Because if we can find a way, and I'm sure I'll need your help on a lot of it, to present this stuff in an entertaining fashion, I think we'll be good. I think we'll be golden. I think we just got to put out enough content that people can eventually binge. And then we just need to start like going onto the Reddit or having people talk about the channel and being the go-to place for variety content that has very good digestible, like, oh, you like this game? Well, here's a channel that really shows it off really well, you know?
Yeah, you know, I think it's extra fun because I feel like we're both doing that this week of like trying out new stuff or really wanting to go into it, because I'm actively planning out a video that I'm making simply because I think it's a funny idea. Like, I can tell you a bit more about it once we end stream, because I will never spoil my shit. And then also I have another idea that like I might put into play soon, because to make up for the fact of how higher effort this video is, I might need to make something a little more like fun and easy on myself. So like I might make something that's not even Warhammer related.
Yeah.
Imagine next week is the first week I tried a fucking Warframe video. I'd love to do stuff on Warframe since I'm fucking obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Or like Halo or like other stuff. Like, I want to make videos on other things. I'm not just gonna do Warhammer my whole life. Despite how much I like Warhammer.
Fair. But yeah. Oh god, I'm tired. Been sitting here hyping up the idea the whole time. But that's how passionate I am, really. That's also, I've realized as well, this energy I have talking about my ideas, I want to bring this energy to videos.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing. It's like bringing that energy. I've learned how to do that. I did that for my last recording, which I was very happy about. But it is tough, like getting the energy and like getting enthusiastic on camera, like on command. Yeah, I'm not the greatest at it, and it's that point where you got to record those videos and record to the part where you're like, God, I'm fucking tired. I was really high energy for like a few hours.
Yeah, for real. I've had days where I've been wiped out after recording some videos in the day, but you know, I'm excited. I hope I can get you all excited as well. I mean, we got a good community. We got a lot of people who also love other game systems. And I want to bring them the content they've always wanted. It's just like, I want to look up this thing in the game, but no one's made anything about it, you know? So, if you like Lancer, be ready, because Lancer's coming.
And if you don't like Lancer, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Right. Also, we'll make content for you too, don't worry. If you don't like Lancer, fine, but we'll make you like Lancer.
I'll be like staring daggers at you from like the corner of the room the whole time, like don't like grumbling. I'll be upset that we're doing it, but I'll do it still.
No. You know what? I'll be doing Lancer videos, and then it'll just have brief subliminal images of you staring deadpan into a camera whenever I mention anything related to, like, if it's not your style, just blip your face.
Okay.
Dark.
Wait, I'm picturing there's a very high point, no one is gonna understand this reference. But there's a fighting game meme I fucking love called I'm Not Gonna Sugarcoat It. And it's like what it is just this picture of whatever character with a combo string. It's just I'm not gonna sugarcoat it that appears for a frame or two before like a really nasty combo goes off. And I picture it like that.
Yeah.
You mentioned something not Lancer related, it's just boom. Like Vine boom, frame of me, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And it's like my Rayleigh pistol shot like combo.
Yeah. I think that'd be funny. Like I said, I think we could have some fun times making some content that's good for both of us. So
I think so.
Like that's and that with this burgeoning company that I want to make, you know, it's one thing I really want to make sure is that everyone who's here is getting something out of it and is enjoying it, and you know, because like I said, I tell Alex all the time. Most of the times when I cannot stand him, I am so happy that I get to work with you.
Yeah, when I'm making very good points and you just don't agree for the sake of not agreeing.
I'm so glad I get to work with you. Because I think you're just the person to round out how I view content. So you blunt my edges.
I mean, I hope I would. I've been kind of training for this thing for a good few years.
Yeah.
I've been like working to like make entertaining things. I hope I can do that.
Yeah.
Imagine if like things turned out a little different, and I was trying to get you to make art house tabletop shit cam.
Yeah, right.
A24 for tabletop. The most like unwatchable shit.
Yeah, right. Though, there's still some fun like tabletop stream ideas I would love to do, like the changing games and characters, or the streamathon, character streamathon, game streamathon.
I really like the idea. I think it was one stream of have like a party of people all playing the same game but with different rule sets.
Yeah.
Just the idea that like you have to figure out how your mechanics can work like in a different setting. Like say it's like Pathfinder setting, but no one is playing Pathfinder.
Yeah.
That should be a great video idea.
Yeah.
I challenge my players to play Pathfinder, but the twist, none of them are playing Pathfinder. And then it's like, you know, Mr. Beast challenge video. It's like, they'll get $1,000, but we don't get money. Because you got to dangle the idea of a money prize.
I want to see Warhammer done in the Pathfinder setting.
That sounds interesting.
A bunch of Space Marines just trying to do stuff in the Pathfinder setting. Like they're in this universe. They don't know how they got here. They need to get back. And so they have to figure out something.
Depending on the chapter, that could go many different ways.
Exactly. And
I think God.
That's amazing.
Black Templars in Pathfinder. That's bad for everybody.
Yeah. Speaking of Warhammer, actually, you know what? Let me decompress a little bit. I've been playing Darktide, and I think the gods, they released the actual, like the release version after beta, and now the game works for me.
I can't relate.
Have you? Well, you haven't played it yet, or have you?
I played it on Game Pass to test it, and I can't get solid frames. When'd
you try it?
Yesterday when the game dropped.
Ah.
And because on Game Pass I had to play it on release, not the pre-release beta, and it's just not stable. So all the guns feel really fucking bad because it's like because it's not stable. Like it's not running at like it's like jumping around like 20 to like low 30.
Rough.
Yeah, it's really bad. So I'm gotta either upgrade my computer, which I've been kind of putting off to be like completely honest, or I have to wait for like a patch or two because I hear other people are having that problem.
Yeah, is it a graphics issue? Do you think, or is it a?
I've set it to much lower graphics. Like it's set to like medium settings with a different like lower resolution. Because my monitor is 4K. Like I have a 4K monitor with like 4K resolution.
Right.
But like it won't run at 4K. I can't run Cyberpunk at 4K. Like it will not work.
So maybe it's a RAM thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I have good RAM. That's the. I don't know. There's something with it. It's really annoying. I want to play Darktide really bad. However, I'm just going to distract myself with the fact that the alpha test for Warhammer Rogue Trader is going to come out probably next week. They're releasing a raffle for free tickets, and I paid for the digital Founders Edition. So for all of you going to get into Warhammer Rogue Trader, my name will be in the game. Because anyone who has actually backed the game with like the higher pack like that, there's going to be a guardsman like killed in action memorial with all the backer names.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be actively alpha testing that shit. Like that's all I've been asking for is like a solid just 40k RPG, and I'm getting it.
I've been having so much fun with Darktide. It's just Vermintide with guns.
I can't wait.
And the guns are good. Some of the guns feel real good.
You know, the training area, perfect frames running at 60. It's main game that doesn't work. Like the guns feel so good.
Like like the auto guns or even the flashlights, you know. Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like to fire a bolter. It's just a guy.
Yeah. And that's like I'm so hyped. There's so much more I want to see in the game and do. So I hope you can get something figured out soon because you're the only one who's going to play with me. True. But I've been having a lot of fun with Darktide.
When I get it working, I will. But we'll see. I do hope that I also backed Wrath of the Righteous, and that was a solid. I was very happy with that because it was very fun, even with like the beta. But this time it's going to be like I want to be like very invested in the 40k stuff, because it's literally like I've been asking for this type of game for so fucking long, and they finally did it. So I'm gonna be doing whatever I can to make sure this game is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's Outcat Games too, which they've made
Yeah.
really good games. So
That
It's
live stream
so
was
hyped.
the fucking coolest. Where I was like, I want two things in my life. I want this big video game announcement stream. I want a 40k first person shooter and a 40k RPG. I got both of them that day,
Yeah.
and then I was like, ooh, new 40k game. This isn't like a remake or anything. Owlcat Games. What?
yeah,
It's like, oh my god, I'm getting Wrath of the Righteous and
I'm
40K.
totally gonna play that game too.
yeah. Also,
I'm so stoked.
it's pure turn based. There's no like RTS like real time strategy shit. It's pure turn based combat
Mhm.
because they have a full cover system, and so maybe there's a chance it's multiplayer. I doubt it, but maybe.
Pathfinder you can play it in turn-based mode.
Yeah, but like it's pure turn based. There's no RTS stuff for like at all. You can't switch it for Rogue Trader.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to Dead Phoenix here.
Yeah, you can
Got
change it, but like
real-time-
I will say, there are certain battles that are better in turn-based and certain battles that are better in real time. I've had some battles where I only could win it if I was in real time. 'Cause otherwise, it's just so fucking long.
yeah,
Fuck you, tavern defense mission.
weird. I never felt that way. I did mostly turn-based.
So long. I did it in most of the game in real time.
But yeah, well, that's oh gosh, still got a lot of work to do. I'm still kind of trying to nail down the style I want to go for, and not only that, but I gotta get used to like doing multiple takes and presenting in very entertaining and interesting way. And I've been really lazy with a lot of my videos. A lot of times I'll make a mistake and I just don't go back and fix it, or I don't like re-say anything. And
Yeah, I've been doing the same thing.
for this style of content I want to make, entertainment is important, and having those odd sticking points sucks a lot more than just informational videos where you can kind of get away with it a little bit because people are there for the info. So I gotta get a little better. I gotta make content that's a little smoother. So it's gonna be a bit. I hate the fact that I haven't made any like videos on the channel. It eats me up inside like no other. But I want to make sure that if I'm moving the channel forward, it's in a way that's going to get me closer to where I want to be, rather than towards a dead end that, isn't going to get me anywhere.
Mhm.
So, and don't worry, more Pathfinder content will come out once everything kind of like regulates a little bit. It's also like the holiday season. Videos are just inherently going to start doing worse during this time. People are going to be gone a lot. People are going to be on vacation, at home. So a lot of channels get hit really hard this time of year.
Yeah, I'm
Which
curious
is advice
about
for
how
you
it's
as well,
going.
Alex.
I will say, like the video I released on Thanksgiving was one of my better performing videos of all time. So
Surprisingly, yeah.
I don't know why.
But
I feel like 40k fans don't do things for like social things, maybe.
maybe. But just be aware, because I had the same thing happen
Yeah.
to my channel around this time last year as well.
I
So-
purely intend to not let up on an upload. I have a plan to keep releasing stuff during the Christmas time, like when I'm actively not home. But like, so we'll see how it goes, because I was like fully like ready for that for Thanksgiving, but then like the video released on Thanksgiving morning, and like by Thanksgiving like dinner, it was like doing very well. I was like, this is weird. Don't all of you have like lives?
Yeah.
Like, no, they play Warhammer. Of course they don't.
Speaking of, schedules will be a little spotty. There might be a tabletop we miss here or there, just depending on how the holidays go. I'm gonna be here for the holidays because financially it's too difficult to travel. But Alex is gonna be seeing family, and a lot of people that we do stuff with is probably also gonna be seeing family. So things will be a little spotty for the rest of this month. Be aware. Also be aware, Tuesday, I keep thinking it's Monday for some reason.
New system
Tuesday,
Monday, yeah.
yeah, usually. We're going to be having our session 0 for Lancer. and then we're going to be doing Lancer for 2.5, 3 months, give or take. So if you're excited for Lancer, you want to see Lancer, come check us out. It's going to be really fun. I think everyone's really excited for it, and we're going to be doing a lot of really fun stuff with it. So I can't wait to show it off to everyone, and I'll try to have like a new scene set up for it. Maybe I'll use the old one I used for Lancer before, which was really good. But anyway, with that, any closing statements?
Go check out my YouTube. It's linked in Cam's YouTube. I released a video. It was speaking of Cam's thing of getting a little lazy with content creation. I've been doing that, so I've kind of made myself a little bit of like a pact. Like, I am going to be putting out content that I'm proud of, or like I actually put a lot more effort into. The latest one I released is the fruits of that labor. I think is really good. I love the video I made. Mean a lot if you checked it out, or at least boosted it a little bit in the algorithm. So, hey, go check out my video. It's on Corvus Corax. He's a pretty cool guy.
All right. And we are at nearly 1.5K. We're like one sub away from 1.5K. We are already halfway to our next 1,000, which is huge.
And I'm halfway to 1,000. I'm almost at 500.
So, channel's still doing good. Despite me not producing content really much lately, hasn't really slowed us down all that much. It's been really, really good. So, keep on that. Keep talking about the channel where you go, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good night.
Night.